but tell us about the new name and what it means.
Well, for our international work, it's called Heart Bridge Project. And what we're doing is we've built a clinic in Uganda, and we opened it up in February, and that was part of the trip I just came back from. We went and had a medical outreach where had a doctor there and about 5 nurses, and we were able to help about 320 people with some treatment, and then was able to give them some drugs, and so that was a pretty good turnout. What we were doing an outreach to promote our clinic, to let people know that we were there and we were open in that area. And also we're building an orphanage.
Okay.
It's called Sarah's House, and that's in Uganda also. And
What's the name of it?
Sarah's House.
Sarah's.
Sarah's House. What is that we have about 66 kids that we've been taking care of on a monthly basis since 2015. When we first went over there, it was in pretty bad shape. They were eating 2 to 3 meals a week.
Wow.
And we decided that God pressed on us to make sure they eat 2 to 3 meals a day.
Okay.
So we've been supporting them on a monthly basis since.
And how many children?
66.
66 children.
Yeah.
What's a budget for something like that?
Well, on a monthly basis, just for food, is $200 a month. 200 US feeds them for
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day for a month.
How is the ratio of the dollar in that area compared to here?
Well, it's for shillings, it's 3,730 shillings per dollar.
Okay.
And it's when you go out to like a place to eat, say like Kentucky Fried, but it's not Kentucky Fried. It'd be a little different. Like I think one of them's chicken tonight or something like that.
Okay.
It's equivalent to the same as we going out eating at $7 or $8. So it's the same for them, but a lot of people don't have the money to go out. When they have a Kentucky Fried Chicken and over there, and we go there, and it's usually like $5 or $6 a meal, which would be equivalent of their money. Would be what, probably
15,000.
Yeah, 15, 20,000. So when you look at a menu, it's like $100,000 for a meal, which is not a, it's not a whole lot for a big 20-piece bucket of chicken. It's like $20, but when you convert it over 3,700 to one, $10 is 37,000.
Wow.
So.
What about fuel? Did you have a chance to see what they're paying a liter or a gallon over there?
It's about $1 a liter.
Okay.
So they pay about $4 a gallon.
All right. Now that's a big difference from what they heard the last couple of weeks. I don't think we asked that question in Germany, but we were hearing like $5 to $6 a liter in Zimbabwe. So.
Well, it's like, some places we went was $3,600 for a liter, and some places was $4,200 for a liter, which is about a dollar, a little over $1.
Yeah, but that's still way more than what we pay here.
Yeah, we're paying what, $2.50 a gallon. So they're paying what, 4 liters, almost 4 liters to a gallon.
Yeah.
So they're paying almost $3, $3.50 a gallon, which is a lot for that area.
Yeah. Now you have a van over there, right? Or
we do, but it's not running right now. Something happened to it.
So
we're looking at buying a new one.
Okay.
We're actually we talked to some people in Uganda, but it's kind of pricey. So what we're working with now, I've contacted some people in Japan through it's called a company called Be Forward or something like that. So we're looking to buy one from them and then ship it to Kenya, and then they'll go pick it up at the port.
I see.
And it'll be about half the cost
than what you can get on the ground.
Right.
Wow, that's interesting. So you got it planned. When you go, you got transportation, generally all that hired, and so that's great. Now this time when you went, did you mainly visit churches or open air meetings? What were your services like?
Well, we went to Kenya. We had 2 days of conference, which was in the church, and then we had the night services. We had was open air, which was out into the market square.
Okay.
So we had 2 nights of crusades, which we had planned it and been praying and fasting, and we had a healing crusade at night, which was according to I talked to him this week. It's about 70 people was healed of various things, from malaria to back trouble, stomach, headaches. And about 40 people come to know the Lord in those 3, because it was 3 nights of meeting. We was only there for 2 nights. And there was about 15 or 20 people was tormented with demonic spirits or just being in their house, and we prayed for them, And the testimony was that they was free. They was
Wow.
able to sleep at night, and then they wasn't fighting those battles as they were. So God really did a work. He really moved.
Yeah.
And,
It's amazing, isn't it, how you see those manifestations in
Mhm.
areas like that. I think one of the reasons is they come with more of an expectation
Yep.
of their need and expecting to leave without the need.
Yep.
Here, where people come with the need and an expectation to receive something, but they also have in their mind, I'm probably going to leave with this
Yeah.
too. But there, it's like going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Here, you go to the doctor, you expect relief when you leave.
Right.
And I found that to be in Africa. So there's a little video you've put together.
Yeah.
I think it now would be a good time if we could show that to the church, let them see that. Do you talk as the video's going, or it just
No, we have
self-explanatory?
during the medical clinic we had Pastor Moses was over there. He was talking during it a little bit,
Okay.
but it's
So-
just mostly pictures.
All right, good. All right, we'll have that then.
Yeah, on this 18th day of May 2019, we thank God that this is our first day of the free medical camp that we are carrying out, a 2 days medical camp here at the Beach Clinic. And right there is Pastor Miles in the car. Just maybe exhausted from the trip, but he has been moving up and down, making sure that things are being good. This is our nurse, one of our staff, Susan, moving up and down, trying to rectify and work on people. And others have been here in the morning and they have left. But we thank God that this has been turned out good. And we hope to do much more tomorrow. So we bless the Lord for everything. God bless you, and we love you from Uganda.
All right, great. What I'm gonna do, have them play it again, and you narrate what's going on
Okay.
as it's playing, okay? So who's these people?
Well, this first picture here, that's the team I have. It's Pastor Moses, Lillian, Eric, and then Susan, which is a nurse that was standing in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I do, we have a team over there that when we travel, when I went to Kenya, I went by myself, but I have a team, which is the
Okay.
evangelist. Lillian is our our worship leader. Eric is our evangelist, and then Brother Moses, which is the pastor, he's kind of oversees everything. And we carried a nurse with us so she could treat some people if they needed, and she did. She was able to treat, I don't know exactly how many people over there, but some of them came up with different things, and she gave them some shots. And then I know one guy, he had some sores and stuff on his legs, and
Okay.
she treated that. But then we also prayed for him also after he came up and asked for prayer. But the first couple photos, we were on that's when we had our conference. It's more like a pastor's conference or a minister's conference. And then when you see the people here, this was our crusade, the healing crusade in the evening. And we did that for 2 nights, and it was people really received it. And a lot of folks come up to get prayed for, and and this right here, this is when we started the medical outreach, and the girl in the orange, that's Rusty. She's our head nurse, and then Susan was in the blue, and then the other 2 was hired nurses we hired for that weekend.
Okay.
They're local in Uganda, but we hired them, and this is Susan right here. She's one of on our staff. We have 3 nurses that we have full time, because the clinic runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we have a facility she stays in, and then the other male nurse there, we provide him a place to stay, so they're ready, available if we need it.
Okay.
And this was part of the medical outreach here. The first day we had about 95 patients come in, and it went pretty well. But then the next day we had more. We ended up in another 220-something, 230.
So these people are waiting for services.
Yes.
This is the waiting area.
What we did is we set up a tent and got chairs, so they would have a place. We don't have enough room for everyone in the clinic.
Okay.
So we just set some chairs up out there in the tent, so they would. And there was one picture there. You saw the guy with the white coat on. That was actually the doctor. We had hired a doctor to come out for 2 days, so he was able to write prescriptions. And what we're able to do in our clinic is we're able to diagnose the patients and write them a prescription, and then we're able to fill that prescription on some drugs. Some of what we don't have, we send them to another bigger pharmacy, but we are able to not only help them, and we're able to keep them overnight or a couple of days. Some of them have malaria, so you have to treat them with IVs, and we're capable of doing that. We have that capability in the clinic, and these nurses we have, they can do that.
So you going over there, that was like the grand opening?
Yes.
Okay.
We had opened in February, but we wanted to do
Official kind of?
right, like a grand opening, let the community know, and then offer them some free services.
Okay.
So we were able to, the doctor diagnosed them, and then we bought some medicines, which is not, the medicines and stuff is cheaper over there than over here. Because for the 2 nurses and the doctor for 2 days, and the drugs we were able to buy and to give out, it cost us about $600. But for $600, I was able to treat 320 patients.
That's amazing.
Some of them was malaria. We give them shots for that, and different things. That's a lot. And then actually give them some Panadine or Panadol, which is kind of like Tylenol or something here. And then some other drugs was able to give them. And there's one person came in there. She had, I think she was having some issues. I don't speak the language, but we were able to administer through her had her IV, and then was able to administer. They were able to administer drugs through that, not me. I did. I always tell people I'm not a doctor, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn.
Well, so you have a staff. One nurse, one female nurse.
2 female nurse and 1 male nurse.
Okay, and then the doctor, you hire him when needed.
Yeah, he came in just for that weekend. We're looking at they got what they call a clinician. It's for better term, they call him a baby doctor. It's not a real
Like
baby
a PA
doctor.
here?
Like a nurse practitioner that can write prescriptions and do some stuff. So that we're looking to hire one of those to come in a couple days a week in the next couple months. We're looking to do that to see how that'll work. Because we built the clinic not to just be something free, not free for the whole community. They're there to help our children that we're taking care of, and we did it to help the community to reduce the cost for them of going to the doctor.
Okay.
And we're looking at, I think one issue that we have is as missionaries is we've, instead of picking people up, we've kind of went in and made them depend on us. Us sending them monies and taking care of them.
Sure we have.
So I feel we need to do a little different. So the clinic is there we hired the nurses, just to give them a better life. And then as we able to expand it in different areas, then they can sustain themselves. And that's the goal, is because if something happens to me and no one takes it up, then all the work's just going to cease. But if I can set it up to where they can be self-sustaining, then no matter if I'm there or not, they can just keep going right on. And that's
Currently, under your setup there, is it enough income come in now to pay the salaries?
No. We just do it because the bringing in like the nurse practitioner, we'll be able to charge a consultant fee. You know, when you go to the doctor, they charge you a fee.
Yes.
And then you write whatever tests they do or whatever procedures after that, you pay for each procedure. What we're doing, we're just diagnosing them now free. And then if they need any medicines and we have them, then we'll fill the prescription for them and they'll buy the medicines.
Okay.
Which we're only marking it up probably 30% is what I told them. Just enough to cover the cost of the medicines and then a little bit towards the other costs.
Okay.
But with the nurse practitioner, with her coming in, she'll be able to charge a fee. They pay between $10,000 and $20,000 of their dollars for a visit. So we're going to try to get that down to between $6,000 and $7,000. You know, so they'll come in, and we'll be able to cover her salary and their salary with the consultant fees.
Now let's talk about geographically where your clinic is located. How far is it from the main town or the main hospital?
Well, from Kampala, it's about 3 hours.
3 hours from Kampala.
And that's where their main hospital in the bigger city. That's the biggest city in the area.
Okay.
They have another little town, I can't think of the name, but not about 30 minutes from there. But if we can offer stuff here in that area, which would help them, because it's a good drive for them to get there, and they don't have to pay a taxi cab, which to go to, if they went to see a doctor in town, say they go to Kampala, not only would they have to pay the doctor's fee, they also have to pay a cab fare there and back, which is about $20,000 of their dollars there and $20,000 back,
Wow.
plus the doctor fee, then whatever medicines. So if we're able to offer it in that area, we're actually helping the community, saving them money because they can come there, get their services, you know, diagnose them, help them out, and they don't have to go into the big city.
Last week we had Brother Shamuno here, and when he was a kid, he went to a similar clinic, and they were expecting him to die. And if his mom would have had to take him all the way to the city, it would probably been too far. And at that time, he met a missionary doctor at the clinic and diagnosed him, prayed for him, told him if he makes it by in the morning, it's going to be a miracle. Well, he made it, changed his name. It was really good. So what you're doing, we've seen it in other parts of Africa. Now, the building, this is the clinic. This is Sarah's house, is the orphanage. And this is called Heartbridge.
Yeah, Heartbridge Clinic.
All right. So at Heartbridge Clinic, now was this an existing building?
No, we had to build it.
So you went in and built this from the ground up?
Yes.
You know something about building?
A little bit.
So is it the same like here? Was it cutting footers and all that?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same here, and we had to get it approved through the government. We had to go get the plans drawn up and then get them to approve them. And then as we processed through building it, they had to come out and do inspections. And then right at the end, before we was allowed to open it for a clinic, then the government had to come and approve it. And then we had to get a license, and we had to have a doctor to sign off and agree with us, you know, the part of that in that area. So it's pretty much the same as here. You just can't go throw a building up and
So you had to meet all the code on the
Yes.
building side. Now, how about on the medical side? Do you, like with handling utensils, or there regulations for that? Or?
It is. We have to have everything sterile. So even though it's, we had to put power in the building. So we had to pay for the power lines to be run there, which we were able to team up with a couple other people there that it was like $2,400 US to bring the power in. So there was two other people that lived in that. They wanted power too, but they didn't have the 2,400.
So these were residents?
Residents, just
not a business?
not a business. Just
They were residents that didn't have power?
Didn't have power, but they wanted power, and it was $2,400 US, and they didn't have it. So what we did is Moses talked to them, and we come together, and each one paid $800.
Okay.
So we combined together the monies, and then everybody got power.
So some of these people that we saw waiting in the tent area probably don't even have power at home?
No, some of them don't.
Okay. All right. So you had to bring power there. You had to get all the codes there. What about the inspections from the city, or the people that come out, did that go smooth or?
Well, they come out and found quite a few things wrong that they didn't like we had done.
Okay.
So they said, you can do this, and then they made some suggestions. So once we fixed everything like they wanted, then they come out again and inspected it and said, okay, we're good to go with it. So they give us the go-ahead to apply for our
CO?
license.
Oh, license.
So
okay.
we're have to be certified to be able to do what we're doing.
All right.
So when that happened, and then while I was there, we actually got our certificate for that day. So it's all official now. We're open. We can do not only medical, we can do dental. That's part of our package.
Now, let's talk about teams from here going over there, like people that are in the medical field. Is there an opportunity for people in the medical field here to go to your clinic?
Yes, we can. We're working on being able to do that, make a package deal if somebody wants to go.
Okay.
That we could offer that. They can go there and treat patients. We just have to, set it up because we don't have a lot of people coming right now. But if there was somebody wanting to come in and do something just for the community,
right, they're donating their time.
Yeah, we can put the word out, and then we would have
people come.
come.
So that would be a good opportunity
Yes.
for outreach. Is let people know somebody's coming to offer some free services.
Yep. Because I've been talking to a team out of Trinidad, and I'm going there in August, July with Pastor Luke. But there's a dentist over there, and I spoke to him last year, I think it was last year. And he wants to carry a team over there because he has a dental office in Trinidad, and he has probably about 24, 25 people working for him. And he wanted to carry a team over there, so we're trying to. And I'm going to see coordinate that, and if he can come in October. So it'd be something we can offer them from a dental standpoint.
Okay. Now, when you're there, are you staying in Kapala or are you staying closer to the clinic?
Well, we were staying in Kampala, but it's another little town over, which is a little bigger town. So we're going to look at staying there, which is about 30 minutes away.
You haven't stayed there before?
No.
Okay. All right. So how's your accommodations where you stayed?
Well, it had AC and running water, and hot water, and a flushing toilet.
Okay. So more
Well,
American size.
Yeah, the reason I say that because I've been to Kenya, and we stayed in a motel. It didn't have air conditioning. It didn't have a flushing toilet. It had a hole in the ground or in the floor.
In the hotel?
In the hotel. So you did all your business in that hole, and then there was the shower, and the sink was right here, and the hole was here, and the shower was here. So all of us, that little room, you just, you had to be strong in the legs.
All right. So your
so-
accommodations and
Yeah.
how about your food at this hotel that you stayed at this time?
It was good. Yeah, they served breakfast.
Okay.
I mean, I mostly eat beans and rice, so a
Okay.
little bit of chicken, and I eat a good meal when I go from the motel. Because when we leave out, you never know. We're driving 3-4 hours.
3 or 4 hours to get to the clinic.
Yeah, like when we went to Kenya, it took us from Kampala. It was almost a 7-hour drive. About 6 hours to get to Kenya, and then it takes about an hour or so to cross the border, because you have to go through immigrations. So you have to get your vehicle, because it's Uganda vehicle. So you have to pay a tax to drive it in Kenya. So we have to pay that tax, and then we have to get that paperwork approved, and then we get a little piece of paper saying, hey, you can drive in Kenya. Because we have gotten stopped, and they say, let me see your paperwork. So,
Okay.
no paperwork, then could go to jail.
All right. So you good food. We're at the hotel, clean, all of that. So the team possibly could stay there.
Yes.
And then go to the clinic, work during the day, or then go back home at night.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at in the next little town over. It's be about 30 minutes from the clinic, so it'd be closer. Kampala's about 3 hours.
All right. Now, when you talk about time to get to Kenya or from Kampala to the location, is it take that long because of distance or because of the condition of the roads?
Distance.
Okay.
They got paved highways. I mean, it's pretty. Once you get outside of town, everything's paved. There's dirt roads in town, see it, and it's kind of rough in some areas. Like where Sarah's house is, it's mostly all dirt roads.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to go there this trip because it rained and we got the van stuck, and so I wasn't able to get to to the Sarah's house.
All right. It's awesome what you're doing with the clinic. I want to transfer to Sarah's house now. Tell us about Sarah's house. How many kids are there?
But at that location right now, we have 46 kids there. The other 20 is over at near the clinic. We have a house over there also that they stay in, and we're not paying anything for it, but they allow them to stay there.
What kind of age range do we have?
Anywhere from probably, I think, 2 years old to 14.
And are these orphans?
Yes.
And are they 24/7 at Sarah's house, or do they go home?
No, they're 24/7.
All right, so your 3 meals a day.
Mm.
Is education of any type included in that, or schooling or anything?
I mean, they do go to schooling, but it's not part of what we're not paying for that. We're working on that. We want to build where Sarah's house is, we get finished with it, we want to build a wall around it for security. But we want to build the wall and then put rooms in it and then go 3 levels so we can have school right there for them.
How did you come up with the name Sarah?
Pastor Moses, his wife, she's the one that came up with wanting to support to help the children. And she passed about 2 years ago. So my wife decided that since it was her, she birthed it into existence, and we felt to name it after her.
That's awesome.
So that's how it becomes Sarah's house.
Good. All right, so Sarah's house, is that something you purchased or you built it as well?
I'm building it also.
And is it just like a house, or is it more like describe it to us? I don't know if we had a picture of it.
No, it wasn't a picture. It's going to be a 2-story house. We downstairs is already completed, and we've up to the roof on the first floor, on the second floor. They're living in the bottom portion.
All 44?
Yeah, right. So it's 3 big rooms with a kitchen, living room, the bathroom, and we're adding the upstairs. It's going to have another couple rooms.
Okay.
So they can be, give them more space. But we were renting another place, so we got it. It was not much bigger or as big as we have now. So they actually have more room now than we had in the place we were renting. So we're trying to make it a little bit bigger. And then the plan is to build the wall, be the next phase, and put some rooms there so we'll have more space for them.
Okay. And you said the budget for Sarah's house right now is about?
For 2019, our budget to do all the work we're doing, take care of the nurses, feed the children for school and everything, we're about $46,000 is what we need to finish all the work. We're doing a fish farm also.
Okay.
We bought 2 lots of land, and we've got it started, we just haven't had it stopped.
So the fish farm, is it going to be able to generate income, or is
Yes.
it for food?
Well, we bought it. We bought the 2 lots, and we're going. The fish farm can produce fish every 3 to 4 months. So we're doing that so they can sell the fish, have some for food, and then sell the fish to generate income, because that's a big market in that area of selling the fish. We're also looking at if we can get it to where it works right, we may even look at doing some importing or exporting to other countries around.
Wow.
So we're kind of looking at this as something bigger, and it gives the kid, I feel that the children in the home, they need a plan or a future.
Okay.
So they have an opportunity to learn to be a nurse or a doctor. We have a facility there so they can be exposed to that. We're looking at the fish farm as a way that they can learn to grow fish and then sell the fish, so they can generate an income. And we're also looking to buy a cow so they can have milk, and we're looking at chickens. And I carried him some seed so he can do a garden.
Okay.
Because we bought 4 lots of land where the house is. So the house is on 1 lot, and we have our goal is to build a clinic out there also in that area.
Geographically, how far is Hartbridge Clinic from Sarah's house?
About
Miles?
2 hours.
2-hour drive.
2-hour drive, yeah.
Wow. So it's pretty spread out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So I'm about to open it up for questions here, and I'm sure that people are going to have questions. I'm sure Brother Johnson wants to find out about this, getting power over there to that place, what it took to do that. One of the things that I really like about what you're doing, and the reason I want to partner with you, not only from a CFA standpoint, but HLI as well, is that that the ministries in those locations become self-sufficient.
Right.
That we're not always sending offerings from here, but they're going to learn how to be sustained on their own. I really like that idea. Isn't there an old saying that teach a guy
Give a man a fish, he
give a
eats
man
for
a
a day.
fish,
Teaching
yeah.
the fish, he eats for a lifetime.
That's a good,
Yeah.
that's good with the fish
Yeah.
hatchery that you're
Mhm.
putting out there. So it will be a good, the way you've designed this, we can take it to Zimbabwe,
Mhm.
down in the south where we are. The plans that you have, the architecture, all of that is really nice, and
Mhm.
it's top notch. It looks very Western, the
Mhm.
style that you've come up with, and it's efficient. So we would like to take this to like Zimbabwe, Mozambique, plant these clinics there, and use them as a way to grow the ministry.
Mhm.
So I think it's a very good, you're doing a really, really great job. So at this time right now, we have about 15, 20 minutes left, and surely your minds are all over the place on some ideas or thoughts of what this dear apostle has been doing over in Africa with these two ministries. So I want to open it up now for anyone that would have a question or comment.
I was just thinking about the weather. You said that it was rainy season and it caused you not to be able to go to Sarah's house. Is that, so it wasn't hot, it was just wet?
No, it was hot, but it was hot and wet.
Hot and wet.
Yeah, because it rains year round, so we're getting it closer into the rainy season. I think it's in June, July, middle of June through August they'll get their heaviest rains. But it does rain periodically. We had, out of the 7 days I was there, we had 2 bad storms that happened to be the last 2 nights I was there. So, and Moses, he went to because he stays with the children, but he went out there and he got stuck. So I said, I don't want to I was going to go out on Monday before I flew back. But I said, I'm not going to go out there and get stuck and miss my flight. So
Right.
I just said I'll catch it on the next time. But we had it was a pretty jam-packed week, because we went to Kenya and then we stopped off at another place. There's a school over there that we're seeing how we can team up with him. He has about 680 children that comes to the school, and he takes care of about 100 to 120 of them. But there's another ministry from the States was there, so I want to go by and check on him and see what he was doing. So that was on our way back, and then got back late Friday night, and then with the clinic Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons I didn't get by there earlier, because I put a lot into them 6 days I was there. But I accomplished everything that I'd set out to do for that 6 days.
Well, we were excited about the work you're doing there. It's a lot of work to be there and to do. The Sarah's house. Now you mentioned you got power to the clinic, but now Sarah's home. Do they have power there, or?
We do have power there.
Right.
We've already, I don't know if it's been run all the way there yet, but we've already paid the power company. And that was a separate for that. It cost us like $2,500 to get power, because we had to run like 4 poles, so it was so much per pole to get there.
And then what are you looking at on the monthly, or how do you pay it by the month? I mean, is it the same what we're gonna do here?
Like
Well,
utility?
it's a pay as you go.
Oh, pay as you go.
So there's a meter, and as you put money on it, then
Okay.
as you use it, then
Right.
you have to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a monthly fee, it's just whatever, you pay for what you use. If you pay for, say, $100 worth and you don't use it for the month, then you don't have to pay anymore.
Okay.
So it only clicks when you turn the lights on.
Okay, well.
So that's
well,
a lot.
That's a
Yeah.
big savings, you're not
Yeah.
just kinda like
Right.
running. And then another question is that, I assume you just got back.
Yeah, I came in
And
last Tuesday.
When are you looking to go again?
Well, we're planning a trip in October. What we do is we usually do our yearly conference because the church they're called Heart Bridge Christian Fellowship. So the church we have over there near the clinic, we're working on, next month we're going to start building a brick building that we have right now. I think I was telling you this morning, we just have a tin roof with poles standing and some kind of stuff around the outside. So we're looking to build a 25 by 35 brick building. And
Is this where you're gonna do, like, your evangelism or your preaching? I mean, is that another?
It's gonna be more of like a local church.
yeah, it's going to be a local church. It's gonna be kinda like, what we're doing here in that area is kinda like gonna be our headquarters for that area.
Okay.
Because we have the church there, we have the clinic there, so, and some of the children stay in that same area. And we're looking to buy a piece of property that's right behind the clinic that has a little structure on it. And we wanna fix it up so our, our 2 nurses will have a place to stay. We're renting a place for one of them, and then one of them staying with where our children are staying. But we wanna have their own little location, so we're looking to buy a lot of land, which is gonna be about $1,800 to buy it,
Right.
which is a 50 by 100 with a 2-room structure. It's not finished, but we'll have to finish it. The floors need to be done, plaster on the outside. It's got the windows and doors in, but not the paint, the glass is not in. So we're looking to do that going into to this year, trying to get that done for them.
Okay.
All the building you're doing, do they have a lot of contractors over there, or are they hard to find, or?
Well, we've not had any trouble finding people to do the work. You know, we try to stick with one builder, so we had one builder and he didn't do a good job, so we ended up having to get rid of him. And we brought another guy in, which he's been working with us for almost about a year now. So we've been using the same person. He's like our contractor. He does all the work. He lays the brick, does the siding or the plaster, and puts the doors and windows in. He's able to do the roof. So he's doing all the work for us. We have one guy that's doing it. So we're trying to stick with the one one company. We just pay him. We say we want to build this structure, or we're going to put this roof on. What are you going to charge me to build that? So he'll say, we want $400. So that we know we're going to pay him the $400 to put the roof on, which we consider building the rafters, no materials, just labor, and then putting all the tin on. So then we'll have to buy the wood and then the tin and the doors and all that stuff separately, and then he'll install it for us.
And he does it all himself?
He has a crew, about 5 people, yeah. Or we'll get, if he needs help, he'll hire the local people that's in that area, and they'll come in and they'll help do the building.
Okay, we got 2 more right there.
I know you do a lot of traveling from place to place, and I wonder, what are some of the difficult things, you know, that you have to encounter going from different places, dealing with the laws and things over there in the United States, you know, traveling back and forth. What's one of the main difficulties that you have, you know, getting your situations taken care of with the buildings and everything?
Well, I've really not had any problems as far as getting permits and stuff. You know, when we started building Sarah's house, like I say, we couldn't just go there and start dig a hole and start laying brick. We had to have plans drawn up, and we had to have the plans approved, and they come out and inspect them. And that's why we had problems with our first builder, is he wasn't building the walls plumb. He kind of had them, you know, and he was like, "Oh, that'll be okay." But see, then when the community leaders were kind of like the councilmen, or you know, because they got people over certain areas that when they came out and inspected the building, they come close to making us tear it all the way back down to the ground. But we had William, which was the guy we're using now, and he's a Ugandan, and he was able to convince them that he could fix it. So he was able to straighten some of the stuff back up, and then we had a little more plaster. So we have to go through the same inspections.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did the footings because the way the ground lays, we had to dig down and build walls about 5 foot high, and then fill in with dirt to make it level, just to get to the floor of the first level. But see, when you're building 2 stories, you got to have columns and steel, and so all this other stuff has to be in place. So if it's not level or plumb, then we get issues when we get on the 2nd floor. But William was able to salvage it, fix it, so we could continue building into the 2nd level without having to tear it all back down, which I might have been a little upset if I had to tear it all down.
Question back.
Are these in remote areas? some of them in remote areas?
Yeah,
I was
where
just wondering how you got, where you got your building materials from, and
Well,
if
with-
it was hard to obtain building materials. I know we can ride down to the Home Depot and Lowe's, but I don't think that's available there.
Well, what they
Is
do when
it-
it comes to brick, they can make them on site. Like in the area we're at, it is remote. But there was a guy there, he made a whole bunch of brick and he needed to sell them, so we were able to buy them from him cheaper than buying them from someone else and trucking them in.
Okay.
So most
So-
of the building material is similar to this wall, it's a brick wall, it's not
Yes.
two befores.
No. Well, it's fired brick. Yeah, so they build it in a big stack, and then they leave kind of like Dutch ovens underneath it, and they build fires underneath it, and then they cook the brick that way. So it's hard brick. It's actually fired, killed brick. You know, 'cause they don't have winters like we do. It's hot all the time. So it's not like it's going. I mean, there's some structures been there for years, and still they've been doing it the same way.
All right, who else has a question tonight? Got one over here.
You said at Sarah's house you have about 40-something children, orphans. Like the area that they come from, and what happened to their parents? Like, you know, like here, like where I live, Stanley, around here, you don't think about that many orphans being in an area. So.
Well, what happens over there a lot is that maybe something happened to the father, or he'll father a child and he'll just leave. And then the mother's left to take care of the child, and she gets overwhelmed that she'll just leave it in the street. We find some in the street, or we hear about them, we go pick them up. Some of them just brought there and dropped off. So it's not only in the area we're in, it's pretty the same all over Kenya and Uganda and some Tanzania and some other places that the father, or they go off to work somewhere and just don't never come back, or don't send them any monies. You know, because I mean, you think about it. We have a certified nurse, she's a midwife, and we pay her $100 a month, and that's good money for her over there. You know, we pay the other ones $80 a month and give them a place to stay, which is more than they would get if they had to travel back and forth to work. Because she was making $125 a month working in the hospital system, but it was costing her $75 to $80 a month to go from home to town where she was working and back. So she was spending most of her money in travel expenses. So we said, hey, you just stay here and take care of our children. We'll pay you $100 a month, which is about double what she was getting because she didn't have to travel. Then the two nurses, they stay in that area, so they don't have to travel. Everybody doesn't have a car, but there's 1 million taxi cabs there, so. I mean, they're everywhere. If you go into Kampala,
That's right, like New York.
you'd be just jammed up for hours trying to get through the traffic, and you know, because it's all.
And public transportation, buses,
Yeah.
and things like that.
But mostly the cabs that travel, and there's a few that in town. There's some areas, but mostly outside you have to catch a cab when it costs, you know. Because that was one of the problems we were having is to get medical supplies. Is what I changed from him doing. He was going into Kampala, which is 3 hours away, and I said it's costing you money to go there, plus to come back. So I said just call them, put in an order. If they can, they charge us $20,000 to bring our medical supplies out there, which was cheaper than him paying $20 for a cab there, and then $20 to come back plus $20,000. It's not $20. Or shillings, and then plus pay for because he has stuff he's bringing back, and you have to pay extra for the cargo. So I said, it'd make more sense just to call them and tell them to send it to you. They bringing it to you, and we saving money.
Right.
So we're trying to teach them how to look at things different, you know. And the problem is if I give you $500 and say go buy this, and you don't. It's not your money, and you don't think outside the box. Some people don't, some people
Right.
do. We all know that,
Sure.
right? I mean, right? We have people, we give money, if you got kids, you give them $20, they go get a bag of chips and a soda, you don't get no change back. Well, some of these people is the same way. Not no disrespect to them, but if you don't have anything, you don't know how to manage it.
Right.
And then when you get something, you're not used, so you have to be trained. We had to be trained.
Sure.
You know, and I want to teach them that. What is the best way to do things? What is the most economical way that we can? Because every dollar we save, it goes to something else that helps the kingdom and helps somebody else.
Right.
You know.
Good.
So that's what we're trying to do. Is we're also looking at buying a home down the road and having a missionary home. So say if you want to go on a missionary trip, you don't really know what to do, so we want to set up for like, if you want to do medical, we have the medical facility there so we can have an itinerary. Say, you know, it's going to cost you $3,000, and that includes, I'm just using the number, that includes your airfare, your transportation while you're there, your place to stay, and your meals while you're in the house. And then you can go treat with the children, or if you want to do orphanage, and we'll have that, and we're going to have a school close by, so if you want to teach, we want to offer these things to people, because a lot of people want to go places, they don't really know what to do.
Right.
You know, and if you know, no matter where you go, whatever team you go with, it's going to cost you something.
Sure.
You know, so we're looking at two ways here. We can have a house for someone to stay in, plus we generate a little bit of revenue off the top of what it costs, you know, and that helps to take care of the children, or it goes to the kingdom. But what we're doing now, what we're doing now is we go to a motel, we're giving it to whoever owns the motel. If we have a house, then we can put it back into the kingdom.
Right. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yes, sir.
How has your perspective changed from seeing how people live over there versus here? Just your
Well, when I grew up, I was in that area, so I grew up poor.
Okay.
We didn't have food to eat sometimes. Mom did the best she could. You know, we didn't have the best clothes. And so it's just, I grew up that way, so I want to help someone else. What got me changing my mind is when my mom, we was kids, you know, my mom got a divorce from her dad. She ended up home. She had 4 children to raise by herself. So this gentleman on the convenience store, well, what a convenience store back then, it was just a little store. He actually bought us our first pair of shoes. You know,
What age? What age?
I was like 3-4 years old. We was young. And whenever we wanted anything, we went by the store, he'd always, you know, we couldn't buy a drink, so he would give us something. So that instilled something into me that, you know, I'm able to help somebody because somebody helped me. I started business for myself. Somebody helped me get into business. They helped me along, so I want to help others. So it's, you know, if I'd have looked at it in today's world, like most people, how they see the day, you know, we're a blessed nation, we got all this, it changed your perspective 100%. I mean, you would be totally, it would blow you away, the difference of how we live versus how they live. You know, we say people shouldn't live like this, but that's common for them. You know, I tell people all the time, if you can walk in your house and turn the power on, you're blessed. If you can go to the bathroom and turn the spigot on and water comes out of it inside your house, you're blessed. A lot of people have to tote water for miles. You know, we put a well in on Sarah's house. We dug a well. It was a hand-dug well. So we're trying to help the community, giving them water. Before, they was going to a cow pond, what we would call a cow pond, just a hole in the ground with water, and they would go there and drink water, and it was, cows drank out of it, all the animals drank out of it. It's just grayish-looking water. So we dug a well. It's about 80 feet deep. So now we're getting fresh water. So that's going to help them. We want to offer it to the community. You know, we can't give them all the water, but we want to give, say, at a certain time, allow them to come and get water.
Sure.
Because we have to make sure we maintain it for our children also. So we're doing things to try to change. The thing is, I want to give them hope.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, hope changes everything. With no hope, no life. With hope, there's life.
How much was that well that they dug? You said they hand dug it, but
It was about,
you gotta pay for a pump or something.
well, they just pull it up with
Oh, they used
a rope.
hydraulic.
Yeah, it was about $800 to get a borehole done for a well. Was going to be about $2,500 to $3,000. So that's and just to give you an idea, when we've done this, as I've shared with Brother Paul, in 2015, my wife and I started, and we've been pretty much doing it just ourselves. And here over the last 6 or 8 months, you know, I've been kicking against the prick, but I've been offering it, you know, if anybody wants to be part of it, they can. But we've spent, in the last 4 years, I have a flyer, I didn't bring it today, we've probably spent about $130,000 in the work we've done. And we still got more to do. And we want to do more. We want to build more clinics. We want to help more people. You know, we want to change their lives. So God has been allowing me to open up to other people if they want to be part of it. So we have a few churches now that supports us on a monthly basis. And we're offering to children, if you want to support a child, we're doing co-sponsors, $15 a month. We'll sponsor a child. We'll help with their food, medical, and schooling.
When they do that $15 co-sponsoring, do they get a picture of the child, or
Yes,
do they have the opportunity to write the child?
we're working on that.
Okay. So $15 a month will guarantee them 3 meals a day for 30 days.
Yes.
And with the 44 children you have right now, you're looking about $700 a month just for food. That'll be
Well, yeah,
with
that
the
would be
co-sponsor.
for the medical,
and
schooling, and food, and clothes.
All right, so it's going
Right now, it's about $200 a month is what
Just
we
for
send
food.
just for food.
so medical,
Clothing,
food,
schooling.
schooling,
Yeah,
and food
Yes,
for the 15.
yes.
All right, that's really good. So, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it and what you shared. And when the next time you're back, can be Sunday, bring flyers so that we can give them out. And with the flyer, that's where they have the opportunity to sign up and partner.
Yes,
Okay,
we're working on that.
all right.
We did the first one Sunday at the Encounter Church, and I've never done this before, so I'm learning. And as you and I have spoke, we just get the flyer out, and they was going to send, or the child out, and they was going to just send the money to us. Really need to do, as you were saying, the other group came in and signed people up and know who's doing what.
Mhm.
So we're going to be a little bit more efficient on the next time, so we're learning. You know, I'm being stretched to do this, so.
How
I
can
have
we
to-
pray for you? What are some of the things that we can pray for as a church for some of the needs that Heartbridge and Sarah's House have?
Well, it's mainly just lift us up, lift the children up. I mean, we're trying to do some other things too, and I shared that. You know, here in America, we're working on some other, working on what's called a veterans home. We're trying to get that established through Heartbridge projects, and I've asked Bishop to be on our board for that. So as we're starting this off, and we're looking to hopefully have that up and running in the next 6 months is our goal, first of the next year. So we want to do some stuff in America too, and then help people. So we're making this international, not only just in Africa, but we want to do it in Trinidad or you know, wherever the need is that God shows us, and there's you know, and do the schooling portions, and we need partners to help us to expand this.
All right,
you know.
so we can pray for partners.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things I did want to mention, if anyone here locally or watching online, if you want to give to this ministry, you can give it to HLI, and all the sources for HLI on our website, their website, and earmark it Heartbridge or Sarah's House, and then what we'll do is make sure those funds get directly to you.
Is that S-A-R-A apostrophe S or S-A-R-A-H apostrophe S?
The second one. I don't think it's apostrophe S, it's just Sarah. Or
All right, let's all
Sarah's
stand. Thank you
house.
so much for everybody coming tonight. We're going to pray for him. And those of you watching around the world, we ask for you to also pray for this dear apostle and the work that he's doing, and also for those ministries there. So thank you for watching tonight. All right, y'all, let's all pray. Do y'all want to come down here and pray for this ministry?